All right, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the situation of the Iraqi dinar, and believe me, it's far bigger than just price speculation or short-term market moves. Many people are asking the same questions. Are we at a peak? Is the dinar in a bubble? Is this just hype? The short answer is no. What we are witnessing is the unraveling of a global monetary system that has been stretched beyond reason, and understanding the difference between a temporary spike and a fundamental monetary shift is critical. I'm Sopia, and this is Global Pulse. If you're new here, welcome, but don't expect blind assurances. We're not here to feed you hype. I'm going to give you the real news, no lies, no exaggeration. We're here to verify, to analyze, and to understand the underlying dynamics that most institutions and mainstream media intentionally obscure. The financial system profits from ignorance, and unfortunately, most people remain unaware of the mechanisms at play behind the scenes. But we're going to cut through that. First, let's examine the Iraqi dinar itself. While many are focused on exchange rates that fluctuate daily or rumors of a sudden revaluation, these short-term metrics mask the real story: structural currency dysfunction. The Iraqi dinar, like many emerging market currencies, operates within a system heavily influenced by both global monetary policy and internal political stability. To truly understand its potential, we need to look at supply constraints, liquidity, international reserves, and economic fundamentals, not just the chatter in online forums. Historically, when fiat currencies experience extreme volatility, investors often turn to hard assets like gold, silver, or other tangible currencies. Why? Because paper promises can evaporate overnight, as countless examples throughout history show. The Iraqi dinar in a post-2003 era has been subject to geopolitical risk, inflationary pressures, and structural economic challenges, which makes understanding the difference between speculation and real opportunity essential. Here's what most people miss. The dinar isn't just a currency, it's a reflection of the broader health of Iraq's economy. Factors like government debt, foreign reserves, export levels, and the stability of oil revenues directly affect its valuation. And while rumors of a revaluation circulate constantly, the truth is far more nuanced. It's not about hype, it's about the incremental erosion of trust in paper money globally, and the dinar is caught in the middle of this transition. Let's talk about numbers, because data doesn't lie. While I can't predict exact exchange rates, we can examine trends. The dinar has held relatively stable against major currencies compared to other emerging market assets, but structural risks remain. Inflation, monetary policy, and political decisions in Baghdad impact liquidity and long-term purchasing power. Those who understand these dynamics see the opportunity not in chasing a spike, but in preserving wealth and positioning strategically for when systemic changes create real value. Skeptics often ask, why focus on the Iraqi dinar? The reason is simple. In a world where global currencies are increasingly devalued and confidence in fiat is diminishing, currencies like the dinar, tied indirectly to real economic assets, become part of the story. Think of it this way. Gold, silver, and other hard assets have historically outperformed paper assets during periods of instability. The dinar, while not a hard asset itself, exists in the same ecosystem of monetary evolution. The problem is not the dinar itself, nor is it speculation that drives interest. The problem is that global fiat systems, including the US dollar, have been leveraged and debased for decades to sustain excessive debt. The same issues that have driven gold above $5,000 per ounce or silver spikes are mirrored in emerging currencies. Artificial manipulation, debt monetization, and central bank interventions create distortions that hide true value. Observing these trends allows us to see where the dinar fits within this framework. Let's examine real demand versus perception. In precious metals, we know physical demand drives true price despite attempts at paper manipulation. Similarly, the Iraqi dinar's real value depends on actual economic fundamentals: export revenues, public debt management, and foreign investment. Claims of a sudden revaluation without these fundamentals being addressed are just that: claims. Those who study carefully understand that the timing of a real increase in value is contingent on broader systemic factors, not internet speculation. Central banks around the world are accumulating reserves strategically. The dinar, while small on the global stage, is influenced indirectly by these macro moves. When global powers act to stabilize their own systems or hedge against dollar devaluation, emerging currencies can experience ripple effects. Understanding this is key. It's not about hype. It's about positioning within a global monetary transition. Let's break down what Sopia emphasizes on Global Pulse. We need to differentiate between hype and fundamentals. Many online communities talk about instant revaluation, miracle gains, or speculative sure things. Those narratives prey on emotion, fear, and greed. True analysis requires studying economic indicators, government policy, and market structure, then using that insight to make logical decisions. Blindly following a rumor is the fastest way to lose capital. Here's a deeper insight. Currencies like the Iraqi dinar are not immune to manipulation, either from internal policy or international pressure. Understanding supply and demand, the central bank's reserve strategies, and foreign currency inflows/outflows gives us a more accurate picture than mere chatter. For example, Iraq's oil revenue accounts for a majority of foreign reserves. Any disruption, whether through political instability, regional conflict, or global oil pricing, directly impacts the dinar's stability. This is why anyone investing in the dinar must think structurally, not speculatively. Another aspect to consider is inflation. Inflation erodes the real value of any currency, and Iraq has faced periods of volatile inflation tied to fiscal policy, debt, and money printing. While the dinar may show nominal stability, purchasing power over time is what matters. Observing long-term trends like central bank interventions, foreign exchange reserves, and fiscal management provides a clearer view of potential outcomes than short-term spikes ever could. Historically, when national currencies are weakened, individuals and institutions turn to assets that retain intrinsic value. Gold, silver, real estate, or strategic currencies offer protection. The dinar is unique because it sits in a resource-rich nation. Its long-term trajectory is tied to Iraq's ability to stabilize politically and economically. In other words, fundamentals matter more than rumors. For those wondering about timing, it's crucial to realize that macro changes happen incrementally before they accelerate. The dinar's potential upside isn't a sudden boom moment. It's a product of consistent systemic shifts in confidence, policy, and economic output. Studying these trends and positioning accordingly is what separates informed investors from hype-driven participants. Sopia also emphasizes that risk management is non-negotiable. Even if the dinar rises, volatility is inevitable. No currency moves in a vacuum, and geopolitical risks can create short-term losses even during long-term upward trends. Awareness, verification, and patience are your tools. Blind faith or chasing instant gains leads to disappointment. Let's summarize key takeaways. The Iraqi dinar's value is a reflection of broader economic and political fundamentals, not hype. Global fiat debasement has created opportunities for currencies and hard assets that maintain real purchasing power. Rumors of sudden revaluation are often misleading. Verify data, study trends, and focus on fundamentals. Historical patterns show that wealth preservation comes from strategic positioning, not speculation. Central banks and informed institutions act ahead of the masses, giving clues about the direction of global monetary flows. Real demand for stable currencies or hard assets drives value more than short-term manipulation. Sopia's approach on Global Pulse is clear. We watch the data, analyze systemic risks, and focus on preservation. I'm going to give you the real news. No lies, no exaggeration. That's the key lesson for anyone interested in the Iraqi dinar or other emerging market currencies. It's not about chasing headlines, it's about understanding the system and positioning yourself within it logically. Finally, the Iraqi dinar is part of a larger story of global monetary transition, where fiat currencies are losing incremental trust and tangible or well-managed currencies gain relative strength. Those who study carefully, verify facts, and consider long-term implications are the ones who will navigate this period successfully. Remember, the dinar is not a get-rich-quick vehicle. It's a component of a broader financial strategy that requires insight, patience, and verification. So, as we watch the global economy shift, focus on what truly matters: systemic fundamentals, strategic positioning, and informed decision-making. Ignore the noise, avoid hype, and look at the facts. The Iraqi dinar may present opportunity, but only to those who understand the structure behind the numbers. Stay vigilant, study carefully, and always verify before you act. This is Sopia for Global Pulse, bringing clarity to the noise, helping you see beyond speculation, and giving you the tools to understand not just what's happening, but why it's happening.